Food for Thought with Professor David Ndete.
Welcome to another episode of Food for Thought with Professor Ndete. A couple of weeks ago, we began talking about dissociative disorders and getting to understand what they are, how they manifest. And one of the things we have learned is that they're not a diagnosis, but actually a symptom to a deeper problem. And I think that's very, very important. Well, let's head back to where we left off the conversation last week as we wrap it up this week. Professor, from what you've said, because this is not a diagnosis, this is like a symptom.
Yes.
So for you to find a solution to this, you have to dig down to what's the main cause.
Yes, absolutely. You got it right. Yeah, you got it right. And this is, I think, the essence of this discussion.
Yeah.
That the viewers will see these things. They may see that's the kind of stories that we have given.
Yeah.
If you see this person, this is a person who needs help. So the question is, what is behind this symptom that I am seeing?
Yeah.
And once you go and find out what is behind, then you'll be surprised. You say, the anxiety, so dealing with anxiety. Why is he anxious in the environment? Why is he depressed in the environment? Is it possible that he has got a problem in the brain? Find out and treat the problem. But don't say this is a diagnosis on its own.
Yeah, I like that. I want to flip this conversation a bit because one of the things I'm also seeing with a lot of conversations coming up about mental health issues, I'm seeing people doing self-diagnosis. And you say, I am depressed, I have depression. You've not been clinically looked at. It's just because you've heard over the media that this is what depression may look like. And you say, I am depressed. And you say, me, I have panic attacks. And you say, me, I'm anxious. But you've never really gone to see a specialist to have you tested, to clearly tell you this is what you're going through. I don't know what you have to say about that.
I will answer that by giving you a very common example.
Yes.
Nothing to do with the psychiatry. How many people diagnose themselves as having malaria?
That's where I come from. Every sickness is malaria.
Every sickness is malaria.
Lazima adungwe shindano.
Lazima adungwe shindano. And then there are times when, I think there was one time when the E. coli, making it, if you had a stomach upset, E. coli. Okay, yeah. If you had a stomach problem, pylori.
Yes.
Have you heard those stories?
Yes.
Yeah. And
ulcers.
And ulcers. So what I'm really trying to say is that it is not only in mental health. It's found in very many conditions. Or if people self-medicate themselves because they have made this kind of diagnosis, they need unnecessarily. It also happens in medicine, in psychological medicine. That is not to say that we should not be aware that I could possibly be doing this. We should not be aware that I could possibly be having malaria. I could possibly be having a bacterial infection as opposed to a viral infection. It's good to always be aware. I think the beginning is to be aware that if you have this thing, it could be this and that. But if you do that, make sure that if you have to, make sure that you are basing on some facts. It's not just your own feelings. There's a lot of information all over in the media, in the social media, internet, and things like that.
Yes.
But I think in the long run, go and confirm your diagnosis with somebody else to the extent possible. Don't medicate yourself. Please don't medicate yourself.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
Yes.
When we talk about amnesia, let me take you back to that. Do we ever have cases of somebody who completely loses their memory? Not just certain events, but they don't know who they are. They can't remember anything.
Yes.
Do we have cases like that?
Yes, but they don't necessarily lose consciousness. amnesia, in the sense in which we have been talking about, is episodic and can be short-term, long-term.
Okay.
But it is related to a particular situation.
Yeah.
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 The amnesia, where the forgetfulness, which seems to be global and is continuous, that's bad news. Yeah, because we are probably talking about, in cause, undemanding process or an organic condition. So they are different, and they have different implications.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you have somebody who is, say, let's say, an elderly mama who is brought to your office, and because she's elderly, and usually the doctors. We have brought our mother, we have brought our grandmother.
Yes.
She seemed to be forgetful. And then the question is, what is the pattern of this forgetfulness? Okay, yeah? But if they come and tell you, she seems to be forgetful in certain situations, but in other situations she's so lucid, she talks a lot, she remembers everything, then that changes the perspective.
Okay.
And it can happen even in elderly people.
Okay.
It can happen.
Is there a difference between that and what's this condition usually elderly people get? Is it dementia?
Dementia, yes. There are different types of dementia. There's Alzheimer's disease, dementia, there are fixed dementia, very many types of dementia. I think the one that we talk a lot is about Alzheimer's dementia. But what happens in any of those is that there is particularly death of brain cells.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these death of brain cells, and brain cells is very difficult to once they die. And then there are also other things we call pseudo dementia. Pseudo means false. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is what we also see quite a lot. People think this is dementia, behaving as if they have dementia, but they don't have dementia. They have other conditions. We call them most likely in depression. Depression in old people, severe depression can present like dementia. We call it pseudo dementia. See, so this is why I say, please don't go and make diagnosis. Another reason, go and find out. Because it could be very good news. I mean, you think your mother or grandmother has got dementia, and when in actual fact they don't have dementia. Don't you think it would be good news to be told? It is not dementia after all. Yeah.
So there's a friend of mine. The mother had dementia. I think for me that's when I really got to understand what this is all about, because she kept just telling us the journey and her experiences and how the memory is fading and fading and fading. Yes. In fact, just before the memory faded, they sat down with the mother and, she was able to transfer the power of attorney to them as her children, to transact on her behalf. Yes. And the moment they did that, she couldn't remember some of these things. She was telling me that there are times she would go back and remember details about a particular stage of her life. Yes. She would go back in time and think it's 19-something. All right. And she's asking about so-and-so. And, that memory is so fresh and you're wondering. Yes.
There's something we call recent memory and remote memory.
Okay.
So people with the dementia, although we might now be digressing a little bit, people with the dementia, let's talk about Alzheimer's dementia as an example, and they will have difficulties with recent memory.
Recent memory, yeah.
They will forget what they ate for breakfast, they will forget what they saw, what they did recently, but they have lucid, clear memory of the thing that they used to do when they were young. And they'll give you very good descriptions. Yes. You go and look after cattle, do A, B, C, D, and that, and that. It can also be part of the dementia. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But you see, it is very good detailed history. It is history and history and history. Yes. That will tell you which way we are going. So when we take them to the laboratory, is not really you to make the diagnosis.
No.
It is to confirm or exclude. Yes.
Okay.
So history is very important, and when people go to see doctors, particularly with the psychiatric conditions, we don't want somebody to come and tell us, usually the men, I was told by my wife that my mother is having this problem.
No.
I was told by the household that this is happening.
No.
No, we are not interested in that. We are not interested in secondary information. We are interested in primary information. And the person who is likely to give you the most appropriate information is house help, who observes this patient on a day-to-day basis. So you say, I don't want to be told what you are told. Tell me what you saw with your own eyes. Yeah.
Okay.
It makes a lot of difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. As we finish, Professor, for somebody who may be listening, and maybe they tend to be forgetful. You know, some people are forgetful. Don't remember where you put your keys. You don't remember this. And they've listened to us talking about dissociative amnesia. Should they be alarmed?
Well, let me also put this way.
Yeah.
All along, I have been saying that amnesia, that's loss of memory,
Yes.
Is a symptom. Okay? You want to find out what is behind there.
Yes.
And say it can be depression, it can be anxiety,
Yes.
it can be anything. Yeah. So the fact that you seem to be forgetting does not necessarily mean you have a serious condition.
Yeah.
You see, there's a difference between. There's a difference between storing. You see, getting the information and storing it. The information that goes to the brain, one thing.
Yeah.
And then that is storing the information. And that's very different from recalling the information.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
People who are anxious or depressed or various, for whatever reason, they may have poor concentration.
Yeah.
It's like now we are talking, and instead of you or me focusing on what we are talking about, my mind is elsewhere.
Yeah.
So that is poor concentration.
Yeah.
Which means there is no information that is going to your brain.
Yes.
So there will be nothing
You'll
to
have
recall.
nothing to recall.
Nothing to recall. So poor concentration can occur in a myriad of conditions. This is what you want to find out.
Okay.
But then difficulties in recalling is that you consider you are there, it happened,
Yes.
you took your breakfast, but you cannot recall what you did. A good example of poor concentration, I'm sure many people will tell you, they are so much preoccupied with the things that they are doing. They want to make ugali. They go and they put the water is boiling.
Yes.
So they have to go for the unga.
Yeah.
We use these Swahili words. I think most of the viewers are.
Yeah.
They go for the unga. They cannot remember where the unga is, and when they get the unga, they don't know why they were looking for the unga.
What was I going to do?
What was I going to do? Poor concentration. Their minds are occupied.
Okay.
That should not make you feel like it's a terrible thing. It could be a very simple thing.
Okay.
So don't diagnose yourself.
Yeah.
These are they're a little bit more complicated for you to diagnose yourself. Yeah.
Okay. Professor, thank you very much.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, I talked too much today, but
That's why we come. We want you to talk a lot.
You provoked me.
We need you to talk too much. We need that information. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We've come to an end of Food for Thought with Professor Ndetei for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you have topics you would want us to explore, or maybe topics we've done before and you want us to go back and talk about them again, let us know via the comments on our SMS line 20316 and WhatsApp 0786316316. Until next time, have a good day.
Food for Thought with Professor David Bittet.